The process server didn't even look me in the eye as he shoved the thick manila envelope against my chest. The screen door slammed shut behind him before I could even ask, "Is this a joke?" My phone buzzed in my pocket. A notification from Wells Fargo. Your account ending in 4509 has been frozen due to a legal hold. I stared at the envelope in my hands. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. The neighbors were watching. Mrs. Gable across the street pretended to water her hydrangeas, but her eyes were locked on me. She saw the stranger in the cheap suit hand me the papers. She knew exactly what this was. I retreated inside my house. My sanctuary. Or what used to be my sanctuary. I ripped the envelope open. The paper was heavy. The font was Courier New. It looked official. It looked like a death sentence. Civil Action Number 24, CV 0891. Plaintiff, Jessica Miller. Defendant, David Miller. I skipped the legal jargon and went straight to the allegations. My knees buckled. I had to grab the edge of the kitchen island to keep from collapsing. Count 1, fraudulent inducement. Count 2, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Count 3, conversion of assets. She wasn't just divorcing me. She was trying to destroy me. She was suing me for damages exceeding $2 million. $2 million I did not have. $2 million that did not exist. I scrolled through the pages. Paragraph 14. Defendant knowingly and maliciously hid cryptocurrency assets. I have never owned Bitcoin in my life. Paragraph 18. Defendant verbally assaulted the plaintiff causing PTSD. We had arguments. We yelled. But PTSD? I thought we were amicable. I thought we were using a mediator. Just last week we sat at this very table and divided the CD collection. She smiled at me. She said we would always be friends for the kids. She lied. She was planning this while she packed her books. She was drafting this while we ate takeout Chinese food on the floor. I ran to the laptop. I needed to check the business accounts. I own a small landscaping company. It's not much, but it pays the mortgage. Login failed. Password incorrect. I tried again. Password incorrect. My stomach dropped through the floor. She changed the passwords. She was the bookkeeper. I trusted her with every keystroke. I grabbed my phone again and dialed her number. It went straight to voicemail. The voicemail box is full. She blocked me. I called my business partner, Mark. Mark picked up on the first ring. "David, what the hell is going on? The bank just called me. They said our payroll account is locked. The guys can't get paid on Friday." I couldn't breathe. "Mark, we have 50 customers waiting for service tomorrow." "I know, David, but the money is gone. It's not just frozen. There was a transfer out yesterday. Before the freeze. She drained $40,000. That was the operating capital for the entire quarter. That was the tax money. If we don't pay the IRS, we go to jail. She didn't just sue me. She robbed me. And then she used the legal system to tie my hands so I couldn't chase her." I hung up on Mark. I paced the living room. My heart rate was screaming in my ears. I needed a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. A shark. I called the number on the billboard I pass every day on I-95. The receptionist sounded bored. "It's a $5,000 retainer just to talk to him." I don't have $5,000. I don't even have $5. I checked my wallet. $40 in cash. That was my net worth right now. I heard a car door slam outside. I looked through the blinds. It was her dad. My father-in-law. Or ex-father-in-law. Bob. Bob was a good guy. We used to fish together. I opened the door hoping he was here to talk sense into her. Bob walked up the steps with a grim face. He didn't extend his hand. He spat on the porch. "You sick son of a bitch." "Bob, what are you talking about? Don't you play dumb with me, David." "She told us everything. She told us what you did to her." "What did I do to her?" "I haven't done anything." "She showed us the bruises, David." My world stopped spinning and just froze. Bruises. I never laid a hand on her. Not once. Not even when she threw the vase at my head last year. I grabbed her wrist to stop her from hitting me once. That was it. Is that what she did? Did she take photos of her own grip marks? Bob listened to me. I shut the door in his face. I locked the deadbolt. I backed away from the door. She was framing me. This wasn't just a money grab. This was a character assassination. She wanted full custody. She wanted to make sure I never saw the twins again. The twins. School let out in 20 minutes. It was my day to pick them up. I grabbed my keys. I sprinting to the truck. I had to get to the school before she did. If she got to them first, she would tell them lies. She would poison them against me. I turned the key in the ignition. Click. Nothing. Click, click, click. Dead battery. No, not today. I popped the hood. The battery cables were cut, clean cut, with wire cutters. She was here, or someone was here. I looked around the driveway. I felt exposed. I felt hunted. I started running. The elementary school was 2 miles away. I ran in my work boots. My lungs burned. I could feel the sweat drenching my shirt. I checked my watch. 2:55 p.m. The bell rings at 3 p.m. I rounded the corner onto Oak Street. I saw the line of parent cars. I saw her minivan. She was at the front of the line. She was never early. She was always late. Today she was first. I pushed harder. My legs felt like lead. I saw the doors open. Kids streamed out. I saw Lucas and Emma. They were holding hands. They looked for my truck. They didn't see it. They saw her minivan. They looked confused. She hopped out. She was wearing sunglasses. She hugged them tight. Too tight. Like she was saving them from a fire. I yelled their names. Lucas. Emma. She looked up. She saw me running like a maniac down the sidewalk. She bundled them into the car. Fast. She slammed the door. I was 50 feet away. Wait. I screamed. Stop. She gunned the engine. The tires screeched. She peeled out of the loading zone. The crossing guard blew her whistle at her. I reached the spot where the car had been. I was gasping for air. I bent over, hands on knees. I watched her taillights disappear around the bend. My phone buzzed again. Another email. This time from her lawyer. Emergency ex parte order granted. Temporary restraining order. You are to stay 500 feet away from the plaintiff and the minor children. She had planned the timing perfectly. She served me the lawsuit, cut the power to my business, disabled my vehicle, and got a judge to sign an order before I even knew there was a hearing. I was standing in the middle of the school pickup line. Parents were staring. Some of them knew me. Some of them were my clients. They saw a sweaty, desperate man screaming at a departing minivan. I looked crazy. That was her goal. To make me look unstable. To make the accusations look plausible. I walked home. It took 30 minutes. Every step was heavy. I got back to the empty house. Silence. The silence was louder than the screaming. I went to the kitchen. I opened the fridge. There was a note taped to the milk carton. Checkmate. Her handwriting. With a little smiley face. She had been in the house while I was asleep. Or while I was in the shower. How long ago did she plant this? I ripped the note down. I crumpled it up. I wanted to burn the house down. But that would be arson. And that would play right into her hands. I needed to be smart. I needed to be cold. I went to the basement. My office. I had a safe. A hidden safe behind the drywall. She didn't know about this one. I installed it before we got married. I punched in the code. Inside was $5,000 cash, emergency money, and my passport, and the original deed to the house, and a hard drive. The hard drive. I forgot about the hard drive. It was backups. Old backups. From before the business upgrade. From before she took over the books. I plugged it into the laptop. I prayed the data was corrupted. No, I prayed it wasn't corrupted. The drive spun up. Folder, Accounting 2021. Folder, Accounting 2022. I opened the ledgers. I started comparing dates. If she was claiming I hid money, I needed to prove where the money went. I spent the next 6 hours in a trance. Spreadsheets, bank statements, receipts, and then I found it. A transaction in 2022. $5,000 to a vendor I didn't recognize. Shell Corp. LLC. I Googled the address. It was a P.O. box in Nevada. Another transaction. $7,000. Another. $12,000. She wasn't just stealing now. She had been siphoning money for years. Slowly, quietly, building her war chest. Using my sweat. Using my labor. To fund my own destruction. I printed everything. My printer ran out of ink halfway through. I swore. I banged the printer. I took photos of the screen with my phone. I had evidence. But evidence is useless without a lawyer. And I still had the restraining order. If I went near the kids, I would go to jail. If I texted her, I would go to jail. I was trapped in my own home. Someone knocked on the door. Not a knock. A pound. Police. Open up. My heart stopped again. I walked to the door. 2 officers. Hands on their belts. Mr. Miller. Yes. We received a report that you violated a protective order at the elementary school today. No, I didn't. I didn't know about the order until afterwards. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, sir. But I didn't get within 500 feet. Witnesses say you ran at the vehicle screaming threats. I was screaming their names. Sir, please step outside. They were going to arrest me. On a Friday night. Which meant I would sit in holding until Monday morning arraignment. I looked at the flash drive on the table. I couldn't let them take me yet. Officer, can I please put my shoes on? Do it. I stepped back. I grabbed the flash drive. I shoved it in my sock. I put my boots on. I walked outside. They cuffed me. The neighbors were back. Mrs. Gable was filming with her phone. This was going to be on next door in 10 minutes. They put me in the back of the cruiser. The plastic seat was hard. It smelled like vomit and pine sol. I closed my eyes. I thought about the note on the milk carton. Checkmate. She thought the game was over. She thought she had won. But she made a mistake. She thought I was weak. She thought I would crumble under the shame. She forgot who I was before I was her husband. I grew up in the system. I fought for everything I have. I sat in the dark cruiser as we drove to the precinct. I wasn't panicking anymore. The panic was gone, replaced by something colder, something sharper. Focus. She wanted a war. She started a war. She sued me. She took my money. She took my kids. She took my freedom. But she didn't take the flash drive in my sock. And she didn't know that Mark had a backup server at his house. I smiled in the dark. Just a little bit. Because I knew something she didn't. The vendor she paid. Shell Corp LLC. I remembered where I had seen that name before. It was the name of her yoga instructor's real estate company. Her yoga instructor, Kevin. The guy she swore was gay. The guy she went on retreats with. She wasn't just stealing. She was building a nest egg for a new life with Kevin. Using my company funds. That's embezzlement. That's a felony. That's prison time. The cop car stopped. We were at the station. The officer opened the door. Let's go, Miller. I stepped out. I held my head high. I walked into the station like I owned it. They booked me. Fingerprints. Mugshot. Turn to the left. Turn to the right. One phone call. I didn't call Mike the lawyer. I called my mom. Mom. David? Why are you calling so late? Mom, I need you to mortgage the house. What? I need bail money. And I need money for a forensic accountant. David, what is happening? She sued me, Mom. But I'm going to countersue. And I'm going to burn her world down with the truth. I spent the weekend in a cell with a guy named Razor. Razor snored. I didn't sleep. I planned. Monday morning came. The judge was an older woman. Stern. She looked at the police report. Mr. Miller, you are accused of violating a TRO. Your Honor, I was not served the TRO until after the incident. I have the time-stamped email. The judge looked at the prosecutor. Is this true? The prosecutor shuffled papers. Yes, Your Honor. The email was sent at 3:15 p.m. The incident occurred at 3:05 p.m. The judge scowled. Case dismissed. But the TRO remains in effect. Do you understand, Mr. Miller? Yes, Your Honor. I walked out of the courthouse. The sun was bright. I took a deep breath. Step 1 complete. I was free. Now step 2. The money. My mom was waiting in the parking lot. She had a check. $50,000. Her life savings. I hugged her. I will pay you back, Mom. With interest. I know you will, Davy. I went straight to Mike's office. I put $10,000 cash on his desk. You're hired. Mike counted the money. Okay, David. What are we dealing with? I pulled the flash drive out of my sock. It was warm. I plugged it into his computer. I showed him the spreadsheet. I showed him Shell Corp LLC. I showed him the connection to Kevin. Mike whistled. Low and long. This is good, David. This is very good. But it's going to get ugly. She has the kids. She has the narrative. We need to flip the script. How? We don't just defense. We go on offense. We file an emergency motion for sole custody based on criminal misconduct. We freeze her assets. Can we do that? Watch me. Mike started typing. The sound of the keyboard was the sweetest music I had ever heard. But then my phone rang. It was Mark. David. The police are here. At the shop. What? Why? They have a search warrant, David. She told them you were laundering money for the cartel. What? That's insane. She planted something, David. I saw them pull a bag of cash out of your locker. My locker. The locker I haven't used in 6 months because I lost the key. The locker she had a spare key to. My blood ran cold. She wasn't just trying to win a divorce. She was trying to put me away for life. She knew about the flash drive. She must have known I would find it. This was her contingency plan. If he finds the embezzlement, frame him for something worse. Mike stopped typing. He looked at me. David, why is your face white? They found cash in my locker, Mike. The police. She framed me for laundering. Mike swore. He grabbed his coat. We need to go. Now. Where? To the station. We need to get ahead of this. If they arrest you again before we file this motion, you look like a criminal trying to deflect. We ran to his car. We sped to the precinct. We beat the squad car from the shop by 2 minutes. We walked in. I am surrendering my client. The desk sergeant looked confused. We don't have a warrant for him yet. You will. We are here to give a statement. Mike led me into an interrogation room. He looked me in the eye. Tell the truth. Everything. Don't leave out a single detail. Even if it makes you look bad. I told them everything. The password lockout. The empty accounts. The school incident. The note on the milk. The flash drive. The detective listened. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. He just took notes. Then the other cop walked in, holding an evidence bag. Stacks of cash, wrapped in rubber bands. Found in your locker, Mr. Miller. I never put that there. The detective looked at the cash. Then he looked at me. Then he looked at the cash again. He picked up the bag. He sniffed it. This money smells like perfume. Lavender. I stared at him. My wife wears lavender perfume. Exclusively. She sprays everything with it. Even her cash. The detective smirked. If you were laundering money for a cartel, you probably wouldn't make it smell like your wife's neck. He looked at Mike. We're going to run prints on the bands. If her prints are on these bands and yours aren't, we have a problem. For her. I felt a tiny spark of hope. Just a spark. But it was enough to start a fire. I spent that night in a motel. I couldn't go home. The house was a crime scene now. I lay on the lumpy mattress. I stared at the ceiling stains. I missed my kids. I wondered if they were sleeping. I wondered what she told them. Daddy is a bad man. Daddy stole money. Daddy is going to jail. My heart ached. A physical ache in the center of my chest. This was the pain she wanted me to feel. This was the distress she sued me for. But she overplayed her hand. The perfume. The arrogance. She thought she was smarter than everyone. She forgot that detail matters. The next morning, Mike called. They found her prints on the cash bands. And on the bag. And not a single print of yours. They are dropping the laundering charges. And David? Yeah? They are issuing a warrant for her arrest. Filing a false police report. Attempting to frame included. I dropped the phone. I sank to the floor. I wept. Ugly crying. Snot and tears. The relief was overwhelming. But it wasn't over. The lawsuit was still active. The custody battle was just beginning. I was broke. My business was in shambles. My reputation was tarnished. But I had the high ground now. 2 weeks later. Courtroom 4B. She was there. She was out on bail. She looked pale. She wasn't wearing makeup. She was playing the victim card. Her lawyer was a cheap guy from a strip mall. She couldn't afford the big guns anymore. Her assets were frozen too. The judge read the file. He looked at her over his glasses. Mrs. Miller, you admitted to police that you placed the cash in the locker? She looked down. My lawyer advised me not to answer. The judge shook his head. This court finds the plaintiff's credibility to be non-existent. The temporary restraining order is vacated. Temporary sole custody is awarded to the defendant. David Miller. She gasped. No, you can't take them. He abused me. The judge slammed the gavel. Enough. We have the forensic accounting report. We have the police report. The only abuse in this record is your abuse of the legal system. Deputies, please escort Mrs. Miller out. I walked out of the courtroom. I had a paper in my hand. It said I could go get my kids. I drove to her parents' house where they were staying. Bob opened the door. He looked tired. He looked ashamed. He knew the truth now. He didn't say a word. He just stepped aside. Lucas and Emma were in the living room. They saw me. Daddy. They ran. They hit me like cannonballs. I fell to my knees. I wrapped my arms around them. I buried my face in their hair. I smelled shampoo and dirt and childhood. I'm sorry I was gone, guys. Daddy had to fix something. Is it fixed now? Yeah, buddy. It's fixed. But it wasn't fixed. Not really. The business was bankrupt. The house was in foreclosure because of the missed payments. We moved into an apartment. A small 2-bedroom. I drive a beater car now. I work for someone else now. I punch a clock. But I have the kids. She is awaiting trial. She faces 5 to 10 years. She calls me sometimes from a burner phone, begging, David, please drop the charges. I can't go to prison. I won't survive. I'll sign over everything. I'll disappear. Just tell the DA you made a mistake. Tell them I didn't mean it. I listened to her voice. It's the same voice that told me she loved me. The same voice that told the police I was a criminal. The same voice that lied to my children. And I look at my kids sleeping in their bunk beds in the next room. They have nightmares now. They ask why mommy isn't here. They are confused. They are hurt. If I send her to prison, they lose their mother forever. She will be a felon. She will never get a good job. She will be ruined. If I show mercy, if I recant, She might get probation. She might be able to be a part of their lives again one day. But she might also try to destroy me again. She is a snake. And snakes bite. But she is also their mother. I sit on the balcony of my crappy apartment. I look at the city lights. I hold the phone. She is crying on the other end. David, please. For the kids. That phrase again. For the kids. Everything she did was supposedly for the kids. But really it was for her. Now she wants me to do something for the kids. To save her. I have the power to end her. Or the power to save her. I have the evidence. I have the truth. I have the moral high ground. But what is the right thing to do? Do I let the mother of my children rot in a cell to protect myself? Or do I risk my safety and sanity to give them a chance to have a mother? I take a sip of cheap beer. I look at the phone. I have to make a choice tonight. The DA needs my victim impact statement tomorrow morning. That statement will determine her sentence. If I say she destroyed me, she gets 10 years. If I say we can work it out, she walks. She sued me. She broke me. But did she kill my humanity? So I ask you, do I bury her like she tried to bury me? Or do I pull her out of the grave she dug for herself? Because looking at my children's faces, I honestly don't know which choice will haunt me more.